For centuries, humanity has tried to control nature, but sometimes nature fights back. We have dammed rivers, leveled mountains, and built cities that scrape the very clouds. We have cultivated the land to feed our burgeoning populations and harnessed the elements to power our intricate societies. This planet, in our minds, has become a resource to be managed, a force to be tamed. We have grown confident in our dominion, often forgetting that the natural world operates on a scale of time and power far beyond our comprehension. What follows are 10 such moments, 10 stark reminders that our planet does not belong to us, but rather, we belong to it. In the ever-expanding urban landscapes of modern China, the relentless march of human development often proceeds with little thought for the ancient inhabitants of the land. In 2019, near Yibin, that oversight had startling consequences. Construction crews clearing land for a new project hit something in the soil, a massive hornet nest buried underground. Colossal hives of Asian giant hornets, often mistakenly called bees in early reports, were nesting in the earth. The colonies responded with a unified, terrifying force. They poured into nearby city streets, a living, buzzing cloud that brought the metropolis to a standstill. People were forced indoors, businesses shuttered. For days, these tiny creatures held an entire city hostage. A stark demonstration of how a small disruption can cascade into a crisis. For over a century, Mount St. Helens had slumbered, a picturesque icon of the Pacific Northwest. But beneath that tranquil facade, pressures were building. In the spring of 1980, the mountain began to stir, its northern face bulging outward several feet per day. On the morning of May 18th, a moderate earthquake triggered the largest landslide in recorded history, uncorking the superheated, pressurized magma chamber within. The result was an explosion of almost unimaginable violence. The lateral blast tore northward at supersonic speed, a pyroclastic flow of rock, ash, gas, that annihilated everything in its path. Over 230 square miles of dense, mature forest were flattened in minutes. The eruption sent a column of ash more than 15 miles into the atmosphere. Mount St. Helens was a raw, untamed lesson in the world-shaping power beneath our feet. The Asian elephant, a creature of profound intelligence and deep social bonds, has roamed the forests of India for millennia. But in recent decades, these paths have been increasingly fragmented and blocked by the relentless expansion of human settlements, farms, infrastructure. As forests shrink, the space to live, feed, and travel diminishes. Pushed from their dwindling habitats and driven by hunger, herds began to conduct systematic raids on agricultural lands. What humans saw as their rightful crops, the elephants saw as a vital source of food in a world that no longer provided for them. The ensuing conflict highlighted the heart-wrenching collision between an expanding human population and the fundamental right of wildlife to exist. In April 1986, a catastrophic failure at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant unleashed a disaster of unprecedented scale. Sound of Geiger counter. The plume contaminated vast swathes of Europe. An exclusion zone of over 1,000 square miles was established. Pripyat was evacuated in a matter of hours. It became a ghost town, frozen in time. But in our absence, something remarkable began to happen. Stripped of human interference, roads, pollution, farming, hunting, the exclusion zone began to heal itself. Forests crept back, and wildlife returned in astonishing numbers. Wolves, wild boar, lynx, and even the rare Przewalski's horse now thrive. A paradoxical experiment, a testament to destruction, and a profound illustration of nature's resilience. On the morning of December 26, 2004, deep beneath the surface, the Earth's crust ruptured. A section of the Indian plate slid beneath the Burma plate, triggering a megathrust earthquake with a magnitude of over 9.1. The sudden uplift displaced a colossal volume of water, unleashing waves barely perceptible in the deep, a subtle swell traveling at the speed of a jetliner. But as they approached shallow coastlines, they slowed and piled up, rearing into monstrous walls of water, some reaching 100 feet. crashing ashore as an unstoppable, churning surge that swept miles inland, erasing entire communities in minutes. A brutal reminder of immense, indifferent tectonic power. The Australian bush has always known fire. It is an ancient and integral part of the continent's ecology. Many native plants have evolved to rely on it for their regeneration. But in late 2019, fires became firestorms of a new and terrifying magnitude. The Black Summer. Fueled by record heat, severe drought, and powerful winds, blazes merged into megafires that generated their own weather. Pyrocumulonimbus clouds, fiery tornadoes, lightning over the fire. More than 46 million acres were incinerated. Smoke plumes circled the globe. Skies on distant continents turned orange. Entire communities reduced to ash. Nearly 3 billion animals killed or displaced. A terrifying glimpse of a climate-shaped future. On March 11, 2011, the same tectonic forces that shape our world unleashed another catastrophe. A magnitude 9.0 earthquake off Japan triggered a powerful tsunami, which surged over the engineered seawalls protecting the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The inundation caused a station blackout, disabling critical cooling systems. In the hours and days that followed, 3 reactors experienced a full meltdown, releasing substantial radioactive contamination. Humanity retreated again, establishing an exclusion zone and evacuating over 150,000 residents. A natural event triggering technological failure, revealing how advanced creations can be rendered catastrophically vulnerable by nature. In the lush forests of Bali, Indonesia, long-tailed macaques have lived near humans for centuries, particularly around sacred temples where they are often fed. Over generations, they have observed our habits, our attachment to possessions, our willingness to trade food for their return. They have learned high-value targets, sunglasses, mobile phones, hats, and snatched them with remarkable speed and precision. Not simple theft, a sophisticated bartering system. The monkey retreats and waits for negotiation. A suitable food offering in exchange. Learned behavior passed down. Nature, on a micro level, using our rules to its advantage. The desert locust is an ancient scourge mentioned in texts stretching back thousands of years. Usually solitary and unremarkable until heavy rains and arid regions trigger abundant vegetation. Breeding explodes. Contact triggers a shift. They change color. Bodies harden. They aggregate into voracious migratory swarms. In 2003, so reported in 2020, a perfect storm of climate conditions spawned one of the worst plagues in decades, swarms of biblical proportions. A single swarm with billions of insects covering hundreds of square miles, moving with the wind and consuming everything, wiping out harvests in hours, threatening food security for millions. Not malice, a natural cycle amplified by changing weather patterns. Perhaps the most profound example of nature's power came from an invisible agent. In late 2019, a novel coronavirus, likely from an animal host, made the leap to humans. Our modern world, dense cities, unprecedented global connectivity, proved the perfect incubator. SARS-CoV-2 spread with breathtaking speed along pathways of trade and travel, reaching every corner of the globe. The response? A global shutdown. Skies fell silent, city centers emptied, the hum of the economy faltered, even stopped. Our systems, health, commerce, travel, social life, were brought to their knees by a microscopic particle. Sometimes a whisper is enough to halt the world. Looking back at these 10 moments, it is easy to perceive them as acts of aggression, as nature striking back. But the natural world does not seek revenge. The Earth is a complex, self-regulating system, moving toward equilibrium. The events we witness are adjustments, consequences of a system pushed out of balance. The path forward requires not conquest but cooperation, not dominion but respect. Nature doesn't seek revenge, like it restores balance. The question is, will we learn?